I'm going to show you how to make sourdough artisan bread. I always say if you're going to eat bread, eat Ezekiel bread or sourdough bread. So I'm going to show you how to make a simple sourdough artisan bread. You can use whatever flour you have. I have a bread flour and some spelt, which I've ground. So I'm going to mix bread flour and spelt flour. So I'm going to make just one loaf, and for that I need just about 2 3/4 cups flour, or maximum 3 cups flour. So I'm going to measure out my flour first. I'm going to do half and half. That's 1 cup. That's half cup. 1 1/2 cup bread flour. And then my spelt. So I got 2 1/2 cups already. 2 3/4 cup, so almost 3 cups of flour. So you can season your flour with whatever you like. For this one, I'm going to use caraway seed. It's great in breads. So I have my measuring spoons here. I'm going to go in with 2 teaspoons caraway seeds, and then 2 teaspoons Himalayan salt. That's 1. That's 2. I'm gonna whisk this together. So this is my sourdough. This is the old sourdough I had during the pandemic. I had dehydrated it, just, kept it on the counter dry. And I rehydrated it and added some flour, and it came back to life. So I'm gonna take out just half a cup of sourdough starter. So if you're making sourdough bread, please do not add commercial yeast to it. The whole purpose of eating sourdough is to avoid eating the commercial yeast, because this is healthy. It's good for your gut health. It has the healthy bacteria that your body needs, that your gut needs, and it also supports weight loss. So if you're doing sourdough, please do not add any kind of yeast to it. I'm going to add 1 cup of lukewarm water, not boiling water. I'm going to dilute this. So you want to dilute your water for it to just be barely warm to the touch. 1 cup. To this, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Like so. I'm going to mix this. You can use a whisk and whisk everything together. Making sourdough bread is pretty easy. It just needs time. When you mix and you just forget about it for many hours, it does its magic. Now I'm going to add my flour mixture. This is just flour, salt, and caraway seed. I'm going to mix everything together. You want to go in with your hands. And this doesn't really need a lot of massage. You just want to mix everything together. You just mix until it forms a ball like this. So if you had it sticky in your hands, then you add a little more flour just to get it a little bit dry. But this is just right. It's ready to go. So you just take a clean bowl, oil it with a little bit of olive oil, and then transfer your dough in there. Just turn it around so it's coated in the oil. And then you can cover it. Like so. And then it's nighttime. I'm about to go to sleep. So I'm just gonna keep this in the warmest place in my house. It's cold right now. So I think the warmest place will be in my oven. I'm just gonna let it sit in my oven overnight. So I'm just gonna leave it in there and go to bed, and tomorrow morning we'll look at it and then make it into a loaf before we bake it. Hi and welcome back, family. So last night before I went to bed, I mixed some bread and I kept it in the oven. That's like the warmest place in my kitchen right now because it's kind of cold. And I'm gonna take it out now and shape it and show you how I do it. So this has been sitting overnight. It's been at least for 12 hours. Now I'm gonna shape it. I'm gonna dust my surface with a little bit of flour. I'm just gonna turn it over. I'm gonna dust my hands so I can work with my dough. Okay. So I'm just gonna fold it in like this. Trying to make it to be round. And then I turn it over like that, and then I do it like this. Okay, I have a nice shape, and then I'm gonna turn it around and then pinch all of this together like that. Okay, I have my proofing pan ready. I'm gonna put it in there like that. So when you do this, you want to let it sit again for another 2.5 hours or 3 hours before you bake it. I'm still gonna cover it. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the oven so it stays warm for the next 2.5 hours at least. If you're gonna eat bread, it's better to eat sourdough bread or Ezekiel bread. If where you are you can't find Ezekiel bread, it's usually in the fridge or in the freezer section where you have the frozen breads. That's where you find Ezekiel bread if you're in the US. But if you live in a place where you can't find Ezekiel bread, then you can make your own sourdough bread or also buy sourdough from the store. Yes, but during the pandemic, I learned how to make sourdough. If I feel like I need to eat bread and I don't find Ezekiel bread in the store, because sometimes we're out, and then I would just make some sourdough bread. You can make any kind of bread, whether it's the artisan style loaf or sandwich style loaf or buns for your burgers and so on. Yeah, I used to do all of that during the pandemic. That was my pastime, just making bread. I learned how to make bread during that time and it was fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. So I'm just starting again. I just took out my sourdough bread from my sourdough starter from that time. I just took some out of this from 2020. I've had this sourdough since 2020 that I last made bread. So when in 2024, I just took 1 tablespoon from there, rehydrated it, and then started a new sourdough starter. That's what I used. It's made with Spelt. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be making some bread. So see you guys in about 2.5 hours for the next step. It's time to cook our bread. So I'm going to use a Dutch oven, and I'm going to put on the oven and put the Dutch oven to heat at the same time to get to the same temperature as the oven. I'm going to turn on my oven at 230 Celsius. That's about 445 Fahrenheit. I'm going to put the Dutch oven in there. My oven is ready. I have my parchment paper here. I'm going to transfer the bread here So I'm just gonna turn it over like so, and then I dust it. Before you put it in, you have to score it. You can use a sharp knife or a blade. You can make whatever designs you like, or you can just do a straight one and another one like that. You can make smaller, you know, designs if you want to. Anything you want to design, use your blade as your brush. Yeah, just like that. So I have my scoring done. Now I'm going to take out the Dutch oven. So this is my Dutch oven ready. I'm going to open it and then put the bread in. Just like so. And then before I put it back in the oven, I have my spray bottle here. I'm just going to spray it a little bit just for some steam in there. And then I'm putting back in the oven. I'm gonna cook that covered for 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna open it so that the top can get a nice brown for another few minutes before I take it out. Our bread has been cooking for 30 minutes. I'm gonna take it out and open the Dutch oven. That's what it's looking like right now. I'm gonna leave it open for the rest of the cooking time. Another 10 minutes in there should be ready. You see what it looks like? Our bread is done. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take it out of the pot so we can see clearly. Nice brown. That's our simple artisan loaf. If you love eating bread, think about making some yourself because it's pretty easy. It's not time consuming. It just takes time to make it. You just take a few minutes to mix it, forget about it for many hours, come back, take a few minutes to shape it, and then proof it for another couple of hours, and then come back, throw it in the oven. So it takes time to make it, but it's not time consuming. So you can decide to make one loaf a week and then eat that for a couple of days. So sourdough bread, you don't want to make too many at one time. Just make enough that you can eat for maybe 3 days and then make another one after. Because if you're going to leave it on the counter, after about 3 days, it's not as, you know, soft and crispy as it should be. And to preserve it, you want to use a paper bag or a kitchen cloth. Just wrap it up when it cools down, and then each time you just open it, take what you need and wrap it up. It keeps it fresher. Yes, sourdough or Ezekiel bread, that's your go-to bread if you're going to eat bread. Sourdough, because you're avoiding, you know, the commercial yeast. The sourdough yeast is just wild yeast. You don't add any yeast to it. Yeah, wild yeast. And it has the healthy bacteria that your gut needs. So it's like a prebiotic. It's very healthy. It's a healthy option to include in your healthy lifestyle. So yeah, that's our artisan bread. You can design whatever you want on your bread, and it's gonna look pretty when it cooks. So yeah, you can hear the crisp. This is gonna be delicious. Ooh. So you want to wait until it cools down completely before you start cutting it to try it. All right, try my simple recipe and you can have bread every week. So if you've never done sourdough, I'll do another video to show you how to start your starter. Yes, I just activated my old starter and I didn't have to wait too long to be able to make bread. So I'll do another video for those who have never, you know, done sourdough, so they know how to start their starter. Alrighty. This is beautiful. Try this out and come back in the comment section and let me know how it turned out for you. As I said, if it's too dry, if your mixture is too dry, add a little bit of water. If it's too wet, add a little bit of flour. And then you go from there. You just want to eyeball it, you know, feel it with your hands. This smells delicious. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more wholesome recipes.